Hello guys, you're welcome to Before You Say I Do, where we actually talk about all the crucial things before you plunge into marriage. My name is Chris Carter, and if you're watching, this is Citi TV, and if you're listening, it's 97.3 Citi FM. Today we have a brand new topic that it's going to shake up things, a bit. It's a topic that, a lot of people don't really delve into because maybe it's a bit touchy, but we are going to touch on that topic today. And when we come back from this break, I'll be introducing the topic, and of course, I'll be introducing our expert of the day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Before You Say I Do, where we have all the discussions that you need to consider before plunging into marriage. So on today's episode, our topic for the day is what to consider before you get married again. What to consider before you get married again. Like I said, it's a very touchy topic. It's a topic that people don't really don't talk about, because some will say, oh, it's not my business, or some will say, shh, let it just happen, right? But we'll be talking to Reverend Bernie Osedua, who is a counselor and coach, who is right here in the studio with me. Hello, Reverend.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
I do well. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. What to consider before you get married again? Okay? Why is this topic very crucial for couples to have before saying I do?
Well, thank you for having me, and good day to your cherished viewers. I think that when you say the things to consider before you say I do again, it means that you've been there before. The reason why it's again is because something might not have worked and you are out, either for both of you or for one person. So at that point, it's just like picking up anything that might have failed in your life. Before you try it again, you just want to make sure that you have ticked all the boxes that are required to be ticked. And marriage is no different. If you tried it before and something failed, before you get into the next one, you want to make sure that you have a very good stock. Take off whatever might have ensued. And for that reason, finding out what went well, what did not, and what changes are required to be effected, so that you don't get into the next one for it to fail again. And this is why it's important that you take a critical look for the things that must be considered.
Right. So how long does one have to wait before getting married again? Because for some people, it's quite easy to move on. They just jump into the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and this next one. Some people can come and tell you, look, I'm married 3 times already, or I'm in my 3rd marriage. And then one person is still like, I did it last time. I don't know how it's going to be to do it again. You understand? So, like, what is the real time to jump into marriage again?
Okay. Let me tackle this from this angle. When you put the premise, for example, that someone might have being in through it like the 3rd, 4th time. To a lot of people, marriage is business.
Oh, okay.
To a lot of people, marriage is an avenue to make more. And at that point, it's not really encouraging. But let me start from the traditional base.
Right.
When you're, for example, Ghanaian, you're very traditional. Our traditional settings and our culture has said that at least when you lose a partner, especially maybe the reason for why you're getting married again is your partner might have passed on, and for that reason you're getting married again. Now the premise could be the fact that, okay, because you are traditional and you subscribe to what the culture is, you might have to wait for past a year before you can do that. But people that don't subscribe to that school of thought feel like, when I'm ready for it, and when they say when I'm ready for it, a week can be all they need. A month can be all they need. And there could be so many different things that might not be right with that setting, but in their minds, that is what they want to do. They're just ready. Because they cannot, for example, stand the element of being alone. And for them, commitment is critical. So if we got to, be together, let us as well commit to something.
Right.
And they can get married today, break it off
Tomorrow.
in 6 months,
Yeah.
in a month, and they don't care. And for many that see it as a business, they are always looking for the avenue where, of course, there's alimony, they can get more out of it. So constantly, if they can divorce 20 times, they'll go for it.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how they also amass their wealth.
Right. So when one partner is divorced and the other has actually never experienced marriage or any sort of relationship that makes them live together, what are some of the misconceptions that each partner could actually have in this whole new setting of we're going to get married?
Okay, so there are two viewpoints here. So in this case, the experienced one
and
the
inexperienced
one. Okay. So from the side of the inexperienced one, it could be exciting because, of course, they're getting married. All the butterflies that comes along with it and the excitement, the joy, the pressure, but it's an enjoying, situation that, hey, I'm taking the step in this direction. So for them, it could be, how they see it. Now, the same person could be seeing their partner from a different, viewpoint. By virtue of the fact that this person might know more than me, they might have experienced more than myself, and for that matter, there could be the element of, it's like walking into a boxing ring with someone who's been there doing it for a long time. Definitely, that this person is experienced. You're an amateur, so you might get into it feeling a bit deficient at the beginning. So it's just a matter of misconception,
right?
Now on the other hand, the one that is experienced knows that, hey, I've gone through the ropes, I've seen this over a period of time, and this is a newbie. Yes, I've seen it for 5 years, for 10 years. This guy I'm getting married to, this is his first marriage or her first marriage. And by virtue of that fact, I'm more experienced. I can be able to find my way out of a lot of things. But if I really want it to work, there are things that might be from my past that I don't want it repeat in this new one. And this is why the considerations come to play. But the misconceptions that many times people have to face or they have to deal with is with the fact that you might be green, you might be amateur. I've been through it. I can school you.
Yes.
And you can get into it and be surprised how much this person who is, entering into it for the first time might know even about marriage. And the fact that someone might have experienced something doesn't actually mean that they're good or better at it. So that misconception can, be one of the things that is there. Sometimes some people feel that if this person has married before, they could be good in bed because they have, years of experience with it. But the new guy or the new girl that is coming is practically new. You could be surprised because that's a misconception you could carry. The guy or the lady might be marrying for the first time, but they might have learned so many things in their journey that they bring to the table. And those are some of the misconceptions that if you're not careful, it might, make you take the wrong decisions or the wrong steps.
Right. So what are some of the unique challenges that, divorced partners actually face in new marriages?
See, this thing about having to have a taste of something in a certain way. Eating rice from a pot, from a plate, from a bowl, from your previous home. And then suddenly you find yourself in a home where it's served in a square flat plate. It's a different ball
With
game.
a spoon and a fork.
With a spoon and fork.
With a napkin.
Or chopsticks.
Well, yeah.
Then, I mean, you're thrown into the deep end. The experience becomes something totally different for you. And these are some of the things that if you're actually getting into it and your partner might, not be experienced or might be experienced, there are some critical things that you coming in and you've been there before. If you're not careful, you might be judging a lot of things wrong.
Right.
Sometimes you come along with some baggages, from your previous experiences. Sometimes some serious emotional heavy baggages that you're coming with. This guy or this lady has a clean slate, and they have all the openness to enjoy love and marriage the first time. But because of your experiences and possibly the bad taste you might have endured over the years, it's built a kind of a defense mechanism for you. And for that matter, the levels of openness that you should give to this new partner of yours is not coming. And suddenly, if they begin to also read into it that they are not actually getting all of you, then it begins to create levels of dissatisfaction in the marriage. And if you're not careful, it will spark some conversations and arguments, which ultimately will lead onto the path of you being out of it again.
All right. Well, we could go on and on, but let's take a quick break and then we will come back and continue this conversation. Welcome back. It's still Before You Say I Do, and today we are having a conversation on what to consider before you get married again. And this conversation is with Reverend Bernie Osedua, who is a counselor and a coach. All right, so we're talking about, baggages before we actually went on the break. Now, there are situations that we don't really talk about as Africans. Yes. Somebody might have been married before. Yes, the person had gone through a lot of things that had broken the person, caused some trauma, PTSD, anxiety, whatever, and they're dealing with it inside because we're a society that don't like to talk about things. How important is it for that person that have gone through that, to, seek for therapy, counseling, something to get better before getting into the new marriage? And also, how important is it for the new person that has never gotten married before to ask these questions and even help the person get, the help that he or she needs before we walk down the aisle?
I think it's important for the new person who is getting into this commitment to really be pedantic, if you like, pay extra attention and care to details that they don't have to actually leave any stone unturned. Reason being that today, research has actually proven that people who hold things on their inside without actually sharing it over a period, they become stressed and suddenly it begins to take a toll on their physical body.
Right.
They begin to bloat out, and these things can be able to have a huge impact even on your health, and it can be able to lead to many serious diseases that your body will be open to. So first, I always would say, if you are getting into a relationship with someone who's been married before, there are a lot of questions you need to ask. There are many things you need to know. What brought the breakup? What, how did it lead to that point? What were the errors? What were the mistakes? What would you have changed? What would you have done differently? Where do you think he or she got it wrong? Where did you get it wrong? What would you have done differently?
But Reverend, the problem now is when you ask some of these questions, you never really get the answers. I'm saying this because, even in normal relationships, when a woman meets a new man, I have learned that we need to ask those questions. What happened to your past relationship? Sometimes the man just says something and the woman believes, and then she even joins the man in castigating the ex. And then along the line, they begin to feel that sin that made the ex run away. So now the question is, how do you now find out, all that detail?
So the reason you are asking is to get information. But the information shouldn't stop there.
Right.
Remember, in I think one of the episodes, we had a discussion where I said that it is very important for you to find things out. And when we get the families involved, they go over and beyond.
Right.
All right, because what they are feeding you is information. This is information you can carry to the family. So, I've met this person, I'm interested, but I hear this person's been married before. They were married. People are going to find out what happened. Someone knows someone that knows someone. They might have blown you off, told you something different.
Yeah.
But remember, what they have done is giving you the weapons to go fight your battles.
Right.
So by the time you're coming back, they say love makes you blind. Actually, it's the folly that really gets blind. Today, a lot of people have woken up and smelled the coffee and they know that no, beyond what I'm feeling, this thing is real. And if you commit yourself to it, your resources, your time, and your life, and you find out 6 years later that you made that mistake, you either live with it all your life, or you have to walk away and start again.
Right.
And that element of starting again is all you don't want to go into. Because then you have wasted a lot of your emotional investments, your financial resources, your time, your energy into trying to build something. But all this is built on a lie. Because someone decided, I don't want you to know the truth. I'm just going to tell you something to get you off my back. And on that premise, you already know that the relationship is set up to fail.
Wow. That's a lot to handle right now. That's a lot to handle, especially for women, because I think what you talked about, folly right now, I think women are the ones that usually deal with the follies. We're always happy to be married, and then we do not think about all those, steps that you gave. And I think it's really important that women really consider some of these things.
And you're right, Chris. You met this guy, you like the guy, he smells good. He reminds you of a lot of things. That should not be enough for you to say, I don't have to look at the red flags. That shouldn't be. If your mindset is that, oh, for me, I want a thick, tall guy. I want a guy who smells good, knows how to carry himself, knows how to speak. Those things are they're flimsy.
Yeah.
They are things that, goes away. They are things that, when reality hits,
you won't think about those things again.
Exactly. It will not matter. So unless you're not matured to know the things that you should be looking at to let you make the decision. But if you're really looking at these external features, and no, I have said it here before, we don't take beauty to marriage. We only use it to get greeting in the public space. Because there are real things in life you're trying to build together. And at that point, what is here is more important than what you see. And when you are not able to really see value, relationships come to the point where beauty means nothing. It's an intellectual intercourse that you can be able to have, that both of you can sit down and start really, having proper discussions and plans about how you're taking life, your kids, the kind of plans you have for them to build a future ahead.
Even the way you treat each other.
Exactly.
Because there might be elements of abuse.
Exactly. And if you are ignoring all these things and you think that, oh no, for me, she's got the shape, she's like my dream woman, and this person can speak to you anyhow in the presence of anybody, then there are a lot of wrong things actually about you. We shouldn't waste our time really with you.
All right, so what about therapy?
Oh, well, that is very important. And earlier on, when I was asking, mentioning the various questions you should be asking, I think that it's one of the critical things that in the place of therapy, you could be asking your partner. If they find it difficult to, do the one-on-one with you in the place of therapy, when you're before a counselor or a clinical psychologist or anyone that can be able to help you go through, the various deep-seated emotional corners of your life that can help you bring out the realities, the truth. There are a lot of people who can handle the truth. And the truth is, when you are able to speak the truth, it's the beginning of your healing process. But some of us will cover the truth and say something that makes it sound nicer. But ultimately, those deep-seated inner feelings and emotions that have not been dealt with would always come back. Always come back.
All right, let's talk about widows and widowers. And trying to get married again, what are some of the elements that they should consider before trying to say, okay, I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to walk this journey with you again?
I think for someone who lost a partner and have children, the situation, the conditions, the approaches are a bit different. For someone who lost a partner but don't have a child, the approach to some level, only on a few instances, are different. Coming with children is a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
I think it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But if you're really going into it, you've been there before, you lost a partner. There are a lot of very sensitive things you should be thinking about. There is a process of healing that I think is very critical for you to go through. Because, see, you didn't walk away.
Yes.
So nothing hurt you to walk away.
Life took the person.
Life took the person. So there are a lot of things that you might still be hooked, to this partner. You see, at that point, it was a loss that you carry for a long time. If this new partner coming does not have the emotional intelligence to be able to understand
that it was a loss.
It was a loss, not a breakup, not a divorce. So you're not supposed to hate the other side. You really have lost something. And they don't understand that to show the empathy, sympathize with you, and give you the needed support. They're going to make your life hell. Because there are things that will come out of you many times that is never naturally your fault. Because there are still unfinished businesses within the person that still need to be addressed. It's not. Even if you take them through therapy, there are aspects of them that they cannot just walk away.
Yeah.
And until they have literally dealt with these
Those
things,
yeah.
sometimes hanging out with them, dating them is so difficult because they keep bringing it up day in, day out. If you're a jealous person,
You can't
don't
do it.
try it.
Yeah.
Don't try it. Don't try it. And
Right.
these are some of the realities. When people, lost a partner and they're trying to find love again. If you're walking into their life, understand where they are. It was a loss. They didn't walk away. It wasn't a breakup. It wasn't a divorce.
Right.
So that person might still be part of the person's life.
Yeah.
And if you're walking in, have that understanding and emotional intelligence to understand where they are and bring them the needed support.
Right.
So you can help yourself to actually have the fun you need. I have had an instance where the person literally made them honor the first wife of this man.
Right.
Because he knows this man was married, lost the wife to an accident.
Yeah.
So it's a very big, space in the man's life. But she came in and said, listen, I don't like being the second best in anyone's life, but I love you. And I know you love this woman you've lost. I won't be her, but I want to also give you my best that can at least be able to soothe that wound that you carry. And day in, day out, she's shown that support. They've married for 10 years. They're still enjoying themselves. And I think at that point is the character and the maturity of the man or the woman that you're committing to. If they don't have that maturity, they will stress your life out.
Yeah.
And you will hate the fact that you committed
that you
to
even
someone
did it
like-
again.
Exactly.
Right. So what advice would you have for couples in this situation, especially when it comes to support to each other?
If you're getting in, so I'm the one coming into someone who lost a partner,
Yeah.
then I should really, honestly, come in from the position of understanding, from the position of empathy, having the mindset that there is some level of vulnerability in the person's communication, in the way they act, in how they behave at certain points.
Right.
There are statements I should allow, although in the natural setting, it shouldn't be. But encouraging and strengthening and supporting the person is your approach to this kind of
Right.
relationship. There are people who have the emotional intelligence themselves
Right.
that they know, okay, I'm also getting into something with someone. I lost what is behind me.
Yeah.
Let me build forward.
Yeah.
But not everyone have that strength, that mentality.
So it's
to be
still
able to-
about you should heal first.
You should
deal
heal.
with whatever you're dealing
is very
with first
important.
before you get into another one.
is very important.
Because you're going to mix, you're going to also mix somebody's emotions up.
Yes, it is very important. I think that to a very large extent, the one who lost should heal and also be able to build a level of understanding and empathy for the one who is coming in.
Yeah.
And the you that is coming in must also have that emotional support for that person.
Right, right. All right, so I think we've really had a great conversation. But before I let you go, I know this is a very, very odd question, but when does divorce become an option?
When does divorce become an option? When there is physical abuse, when there is emotional abuse, verbal abuse, anything abuse.
All the abuse.
Please, there is no wisdom by any standard. I'm Christian, I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
I have a Bible here.
Yeah.
I know the Bible says that unless it's adultery, we've lost good people by virtue of the fact that there is one scripture that creates a doctrine for a group of people that says that if you marry, stick in there till death do us part. I'm not dying here. I'm telling you. Okay, so what is the essence? Why would I stay in something that will end me up in hell anyway?
Right.
Why would I live in two hells? At least, if I'm going to hell, I should have a bit of fun here.
Right.
At least. But you live in hell and still end up in hell? No. So anything that will kill your life and destroy your destiny, trust me, please, there is an option. It is something you must consider critically. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what point you're trying to prove. I have no idea, what point one is trying to prove. It is very critical that it's an option if you are physically abused, emotionally, psychologically, verbally. Please advise yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Reverend Benny Osei-Dua. He's a counselor and coach, and we've been speaking on what to consider before you get married again. How can people reach out to you?
You can WhatsApp me on 0500 200 944. I'm also on social media, so LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. You can find me.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. So this has been, a very insightful conversation, and I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you that's, sticked out there and watched the whole episode. You know what? We have a brand new episode coming the next day, or that's tomorrow. So stick around and stay with us. Okay. Bye-bye.